Joining us now via Skype is Roger Aston from PharmAust. Roger, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Would you start us off with an introduction to this company?
Of course, Danielle. Thank you for the opportunity. PharmAust, also with the ticker code PAA, is also known to be listed on the ASX. And we have two arms to the business. So we have a repurposing arm where we're looking at taking an already approved drug and repurposing it for oncology, for cancer treatment. And we also have a wholly owned subsidiary, which is in the products and services arena. And they really focus on medicinal chemistry compounds, which are distributed globally, basically. And we are hoping that they will do somewhere between 3 and 4 million in sales this year, but with a lot of growth ahead because we've doubled their area in the last 12 months with more fume hoods and benches for the chemists to work on. So that's the essence of the business. If I come back to the oncology program, which is the major part of the business, it's a product area that's attractive to us. Repurposing drugs has a lot of advantages over starting from scratch. As we all know, new pharmaceuticals can take up to 15 years from bench to market. And of course, shareholders are keen to see things move a lot faster than that. So taking a repurposed drug means you've got a compound that's approved, you've got a compound that has been through the regulators like the FDA and the TGA and of course the MHRA in Europe. That means a lot of the hurdles that are typically need to be passed with a new drug have already been done by somebody else. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a manufacturing process, there's a tableting process, and of course they've done the toxicology and safety. So there's a lot of data out there that you can build on, which saves us money and time. And as I mentioned earlier, that we have someone who already owns the drug that we're repurposing. So you've got an audience there from the beginning and hopefully support.
So Roger, there is obviously a time benefit in using the repurposing model, as you've explained. Is there also a cost benefit? And of course, this will come with an automatic collaborator. What's that relationship like?
Indeed. And the cost, of course, is vast for new pharmaceuticals. You hear these figures of billions of dollars to discover and register a new pharmaceutical for human use. And if you've got all the toxicology and the regulatory information in place, it is a lot cheaper and it's a lot faster. You can tick a lot of boxes. And indeed, we do have a partner for this particular product. It's the partner that owns the active drug that we're using. They're called the API. And we have an option with them, which will give them a license once they look at our next trial, and hopefully they will like it and exercise their option into a full license. And of course, that comes with payments up front and milestones, and of course, ultimately a royalty.
So Roger, let's talk about this drug, shall we? Monipantal, MPL, tell us about it.
Well, Monipantal is an antiparasitic drug. It's directed to veterinary use. It was discovered by a company called Novartis Animal Health, which was part of the Novartis Group. Novartis Animal Health was sold to Eli Lilly Elanco, and Elanco being the veterinary arm of Eli Lilly, which has recently IPO'd in the United States, and I think it was the largest IPO for 2018. And we have signed an option agreement with them to access their drug, which of course they own it and they manufacture it, so that we can evaluate it both in human cancers and in veterinary cancers. Of course, Elanco are only interested in veterinary cancers. They're a global veterinary player in the top 5, I would expect. And we are looking towards them to accelerate the drug through the various stages. So we will do a phase 2 trial, and then we are hoping they will take it aboard for the registration processes coming up in due course. So we're really looking to do the next big trial over the next 6 months. That will be the ticker.
Tell us about the stage you're at with it. How much proof is there that this antiparasitic drug is effective in combating cancer?
We've done a great deal of work on it, and it's taken us a number of years to do the work. And the type of work that we do is firstly preclinical. In other words, you take a whole series of cancer cell lines, pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, all the huge melanoma, all the cancers that we know, and we test the drug in culture to see if it kills these cells. But at the same time, we also look at its ability to kill normal cells. What you want is something called therapeutic index, which means you don't want to kill the normal cells, you just want to kill the cancer cells. This selectivity is vital. And what we have found in these cellular experiments is that the therapeutic index is very good. In other words, the toxicity of the drug in animals and in humans, which we've tested both, is very low. And that's attractive. And it also goes against the grain a little bit because, as you know, I'm sure, the big concern with oncology and the limiting factor in oncology treatment is the toxicity of the treatment, whether it's radiotherapy or whether it's chemotherapy. These have collateral damage on normal tissues. So we're pretty excited by this because it gives us the opportunity to use high doses without the side effects. I can add that we have done trials both in canines, in dogs, which are looking really quite exciting. And also we have done one human trial at the Royal Adelaide Hospital. So
yes, Roger, I definitely want to speak about this. Not only are you repurposing a drug for a new process, but repurposing from animals to humans. Tell us about this path. Is it something that happens often?
It's happening more often now. Again, several reasons. First reason, of course, is that assuming you take the right model, in our case it's canines, the data that you get is very applicable to humans. So interestingly enough, dogs suffer the same cancers as humans do in much the same way. So they are a very good model for the human trials. But of course, we've got a dual product. In other words, we are looking not only to test it in canines to see if it works, but we're keen to use it in canines as a therapeutic drug for treating canine cancers. And of course, in due course, we will also seek to register it for humans. So the transition from dogs to humans should be a lot easier than going straight to humans.
So tell us about the progress of Monapantal in human subjects.
Well, we've done one trial so far. We did 8 patients at the Royal Adelaide Hospital. It was a safety trial to begin with, and the outcome of the safety and toxicology was very good. And we also looked at markers. So many cancers have markers in the blood, which when you take a blood sample, you can actually measure them. And what you look for, of course, is the drug suppressing the markers at the end of the day, which means that you are effectively stopping the growth of the tumor. And we got statistically significant reduction in markers in the blood when we used the drug Monapantal, and I think that's a fantastic start in humans.
So Roger, you mentioned at the top that you do have 2 arms of the business, the Epichem branch being profitable. Is the money from that going into this arm of the business, progressing Monapantal in animals and humans?
As of today, it has not been, and the reason for that is that we have transitioned Epichem out of a university environment when we first took over the company, shall we say, and since that time we've been increasing the laboratory space because we were in the enviable position that we were getting too many contracts and unable to service them. So we have been spending the money, and in fact we have taken a small loan as well to facilitate the expansion. So we're looking that's all in place now. So we're looking towards the next year or two with some excitement that Epichem are going to start overproducing products and delivering profits that we can use in the whole business.
So moving forwards in that time frame, what are those big milestones to come for both branches of the business?
Well, with Epichem, it's a simple matter of dealing with more contracts, servicing more contracts, and bringing in more cash at the end of the day, paying off the loan, which is not an issue for us. And I would say within 12 months, it'll be ready to roll in a serious manner commercially. With the Monopantal part of the business, the oncology project, we feel that the next 6 months have got a number of key milestones. Our partner has provided us with the active drug, Elanco, and we are now reformulating that. We've just tested it in canines and showed that the tablet that we've been making is absorbed. You have to do all these basic type of studies. It's an oral product, so there's no injections. And historically, the product was not very palatable for dogs. They're very fussy about taste. And we've just modified that so that the product is both swallowable and palatable. And that's very important for a canine product. And it is intended to be used, if you like, out of the clinic. So the owner will give the product daily to the canine. So we've demonstrated absorption. We've got a small pharmacokinetic study coming up, which is just measuring the blood levels. And then after that, in the new year, we're embarking on what we would call our key phase 2 study, which is designed to look at several different cancers in canines. And with the outcome of that trial, our option agreement with Elanco will come into play. In other words, they will review the outcome of the trial, and if it performs, then I think it's an exciting opportunity for them as well as ourselves, because the canine oncology market is reasonably large, in the region of 500 or 600 million a year, and of course, there's always demand for new drugs.
Roger Aston, thank you.
Thank you.